Welcome to the World Channel, NVV. Man City players shun club Christmas party. Manchester City's players have not attended the club's main Christmas party this year. The PA news agency understands boss Pep Guardiola was expected to represent the first team squad at an event in Manchester City Centre for all the club's staff on Thursday evening. This comes after a book published earlier this season, which was written with the full cooperation of Guardiola, revealed how the manager was unhappy with some players after last year's event. According to Pep's City, The Making of a Superteam, by Spanish journalists Lou Martin and Paul Ballas, some players continued partying at a nearby nightclub after the event, arranged for around 400 City staff, finished. All reported for training on time the next morning, but, the book says, one or two, however, had clearly overdone it on the Christmas spirit, and Pep wasn't impressed. 2 days later, City were beaten at home by Crystal Palace and they also lost to Leicester over the festive period. This year's party comes the night after City played Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia in the Champions League and 3 days before an important Premier League clash at Arsenal. Guardiola will be hoping to get back to winning ways on the domestic front after losing to rivals Manchester United in last weekend's derby. The champions are already 14 points behind leaders Liverpool after 4 defeats this term. Guardiola's assistant coach Mikel Arteta was also linked with the managerless Gunners ahead of the game. The Spaniard could be a contender to succeed Unai Emery at his former club, having also been linked with a return to the Emirates Stadium when Arsene Wenger left last year. Arteta, who is also of reported interest to Everton, is highly rated as a coach. City striker Gabriel Jesus said, "He has helped a lot of players. When I want to do some finishing after training, I tell him and he comes and helps me, so he is fantastic for us. All the players know that, everyone knows that in the club. He is a fantastic guy and a fantastic manager." Defeat for Napoli in coach Gattuso's debut. Gennaro Gattuso has his work cut out for him as Napoli's new coach. Gli Azzurri conceded a stoppage-time goal in a 2-1 Italian Serie A loss at home to Parma on Saturday in Gattuso's debut at the helm. Gattuso was hired midweek to replace the fired Carlo Ancelotti, his former coach at AC Milan, but couldn't prevent Napoli from extending their winless streak in the league to 8 matches. Gervinho finished off a counter-attack for Parma to decide the match. Gattuso said Napoli was struggling psychologically. "Napoli is not used to such a long winless streak," he said. "These players are used to challenging at the top of the table, so they are struggling to adapt. I accept full responsibility and blame for this loss." It was uphill from the start for Gattuso as Parma scored after only 4 minutes. Dejan Kulusevski took advantage of a failed tackle by Kalidou Koulibaly and finished with a decisive shot inside the near post. Making matters worse, Koulibaly was injured on the play and had to exit with an apparent thigh problem. Napoli were awarded a penalty in first half added time only to have the VAR cancel the call as video footage showed that Hernani barely touched Napoli midfielder Piotr Zielinski. Gattuso introduced Dries Mertens midway through the second half and the Belgium international made an immediate impact. A minute after coming on, Mertens provided a cross that Arkadiusz Milik headed in. Napoli fell to 8th place and were leapfrogged by Parma. "There is a lot of work to be done," Gattuso said. "This team has to shake off the tension and get back to playing the kind of free-flowing football it did for many years." Brescia are showing signs of life with a second straight win since Eugenio Carini was reappointed as coach. Mario Balotelli was a constant threat in a 3-0 win over Lecce that took Brescia up 1 spot to 18th. John Chancellor, Ernesto Torregrossa and Nicolas Spalek scored the goals. Carini was fired in early November but then rehired after Fabio Grosso lost all 3 of his matches in charge. "If we're united we can achieve something that seemed impossible," Carini said. "We're back in this race." Lecce, in 15th, are just 2 points ahead of Brescia. Sampdoria won 1-0 in a late City derby with Genoa thanks to a clinical drive from Manolo Gabbiadini. Samp joined Lecce on 15 points to move out of the drop zone while Genoa are second last.